I was sitting alone in my apartment, staring at my phone screen. My girlfriend had just posted something on Facebook. The words hit me like cold water. Sometimes you have to walk away from toxic men. 2 years. I had spent 2 years in this relationship, always believing I was the problem, always apologizing, always trying harder. But reading those words, I did not feel pain. I felt something else. Clarity. And in that moment, I decided to do something nobody expected. Not even myself. Before I share what happened next, let me know where you are watching from today. Drop your location in the comments. If you have ever felt trapped in a relationship where you were always the bad guy, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. What would you do if someone publicly called you toxic? Stay with me, because what happened next changed everything. My name is Caesar. I am 28 years old, and I work as a software engineer at a tech company in Austin, Texas. I have been living on my own since I was 22. I have my own apartment, my own car, and my finances are stable. Nothing fancy, but I built it all myself. I have a group of close friends from college. Marcus is my best friend. We have known each other since freshman year. Then there is Derek and Tommy. Every other weekend, we used to go fishing at this lake about 40 miles outside the city. Those trips were sacred to us. No phones, no stress, just 4 guys on a boat talking about life. I play guitar. Not professionally, just for myself. I keep it in the corner of my living room, and whenever I feel stressed, I pick it up and play for an hour or two. I also love football. Sunday afternoons were meant for watching games with a cold drink in my hand. I am not the type to start arguments. I never have been. My mom always said I was the peacemaker in the family. When my parents disagreed, I was the one trying to calm everyone down. I carried that into adulthood. I would rather walk away from a fight than win one. Some people call that weak. I used to call it mature. Then I met Megan. It was at a coffee shop near my office. She worked at a marketing agency a few blocks away. I was sitting alone reading a book during my lunch break. She walked up to my table with this bright smile and said I looked cute reading by myself. Her exact words. I remember because nobody had ever approached me like that before. Megan was 26. She had long brown hair that fell past her shoulders. When she smiled, her whole face lit up. She talked with her hands full of energy, full of confidence. I was drawn to her immediately. We exchanged numbers that day. Within a week, we were texting every morning and every night. She would send me good morning messages with little hearts. She asked about my day, remembered small details I mentioned, made me feel seen. The first 3 months were everything I thought love should be. We went on dinner dates, watched movies, walked around downtown holding hands. She cooked for me at her place these elaborate meals she spent hours preparing. I had never been treated like that before. I introduced her to Marcus, Derek, and Tommy. They all liked her at first. She was charming, asked them questions about their lives, laughed at their jokes. Marcus pulled me aside after that first meeting and said she seemed great. I felt lucky. I really did. But somewhere around the 4th month, things started to shift. It began with small comments about my friends. She said Marcus talked a little rough, that his jokes were inappropriate. She mentioned Derek looked at her funny like he did not trust her. I brushed it off. I told myself she was just adjusting to my social circle. Then she suggested I spend less time with them. She framed it as wanting more quality time together. She said relationships need nurturing, and I was always running off to hang out with the guys. I agreed. I thought that was what couples did. They prioritized each other. One night, she picked up my phone while I was in the shower. When I came out, she was scrolling through my messages. I asked what she was doing. She smiled and said she was just curious. She asked why I would hide anything if I had nothing to hide. I did not know how to respond. I felt uncomfortable, but I did not want to start a fight. So I let it go. Marcus noticed the changes before I did. About 6 months in, he pulled me aside at a barbecue. He said Megan was isolating me from the group. He said I had missed 3 fishing trips in a row, that I barely responded to the group chat anymore. I got defensive. I told him he was reading too much into it. I told him Megan and I were just in the honeymoon phase. But the fishing trips stopped completely after that. The Sunday football gatherings became rare. I told myself I was making sacrifices for love. I told myself this was what grown-up relationships looked like. Looking back, I was already losing myself. I just did not know it yet. 8 months into the relationship, Megan moved in with me. She had been complaining about her roommate for weeks. Dirty dishes, loud music, passive-aggressive notes on the refrigerator. One night she looked at me with those big brown eyes and asked if she could stay with me for a while, just until she figured things out. I said yes without hesitation. I thought it was the natural next step. The first week she rearranged the entire apartment. My guitar had to go into the closet because it cluttered the living room. My football posters came down because they made the place look like a college dorm. She replaced my comfortable old couch with a sleek gray one that looked nice, but felt like sitting on concrete. She said we needed to have a grown-up space, something we could be proud of when guests came over. I did not argue. I told myself she had better taste than me. I told myself compromise was part of living together. Then she brought up finances. She suggested we combine our money into a joint account. It would make things easier, she said. We could track expenses together, save for the future together. I agreed. My salary was higher than hers, so I ended up covering most of the rent and utilities. That seemed fair. But Megan's spending habits surprised me. New clothes every week. Expensive handbags, she said, were investments. Skincare products that cost more than my grocery bill. When I asked about our savings one evening, she exploded. She asked if I was accusing her of wasting money. She asked if I did not trust her. Her voice got louder, her eyes filled with tears, and suddenly I was the villain. I apologized. I never brought up money again. The social media monitoring started gradually. First, she asked me to unfriend a few women from college. She said it made her uncomfortable seeing me connected to my past. I unfriended them. Then she wanted access to my phone. She checked my messages, my emails, my browser history, every single day. She posted photos of us constantly. Every dinner, every walk, every lazy Sunday morning. She tagged me in everything, and if I did not like or comment within an hour, she noticed. Where were you? Why did you not see my post? Are you ignoring me on purpose? I started keeping my phone in my hand at all times, afraid of missing a notification and facing the interrogation that followed. My world shrank. I stopped calling Marcus. I stopped texting the group chat. When Derek reached out to check on me, I gave short responses and made excuses. I told myself I was just busy. I told myself real friends would understand. My mom called every Sunday. Megan sat next to me during those calls, listening to every word. Afterward, she would comment that my mom asked too many questions, that she seemed suspicious of Megan, that maybe I should call less often, so my mom would not interfere with our relationship. I started calling every other week, then once a month, then barely at all. At work, my colleagues noticed the change. I was quieter, more anxious, constantly checking my phone. My supervisor asked if everything was okay at home. I said yes, I smiled, I lied. I turned down every invitation to happy hour, every team lunch, every after-work gathering. Megan was waiting at home. Megan needed me there. Megan would ask questions if I was late. Every argument ended the same way. If you paid more attention to me, I would not get upset. You made me react like this. This is your fault. I believed her. I genuinely believed that every problem in our relationship stemmed from something I did wrong. I tried harder. I gave more. I became smaller. But it was never enough. Nothing I did was ever enough. The public humiliation came at my co-worker's birthday party. Megan had a few drinks. In the middle of a conversation with my colleagues, she announced loudly that I never had time for her. She said I was always too busy, always distracted, always somewhere else mentally. People stared. The room went quiet. I took her arm gently and led her outside. On the drive home, I asked why she said those things. She looked at me coldly and said it was the truth. She asked if I could not handle hearing the truth. After that night, my co-workers looked at me differently. Some with pity, some with judgment. I could not tell which was worse. I was drowning and I did not even know I was underwater. The relationship had reached almost 2 years when everything finally broke. I was exhausted in ways I could not explain. My work performance suffered. I lost 15 pounds without trying because I was too stressed to eat properly. I lay awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering how I got here. One night I woke up at 3 a.m. Megan was asleep beside me, peaceful and still. I sat in the darkness of the living room alone with my thoughts. I asked myself a question I had been avoiding for months. Who have I become? The answer terrified me. I was a ghost of the person I used to be. No friends, no hobbies, no identity outside of this relationship. Everything I was had been chipped away piece by piece until there was nothing left. I needed to talk to someone. But Megan monitored all my devices, except one, my work email. She had never thought to check it. So late one night at the office, I sent Marcus a message. I told him everything. The control, the isolation, the constant criticism, the way I had lost myself completely. I asked him not to respond by phone or text, email only. His reply came the next morning. He was shocked but not surprised. He said he had been waiting for me to reach out. He said one thing that stuck with me. You need to get out of there. Now. I started planning in secret. I opened a new bank account at a different bank than the one Megan knew about. Each paycheck I transferred a small amount, nothing she would notice. I found a new apartment across town, signed a lease, but did not move in yet. I gathered my important documents, my passport, my birth certificate, my social security card, and kept them in my desk at work. I consulted a lawyer about my rights. The apartment was mine. I had signed the lease before Megan moved in. My name was on everything. The lawyer confirmed I could legally change the locks and give her 30 days' notice to vacate. Marcus cleared out his spare bedroom. If things went wrong, I had somewhere to go. Then came the Facebook post. It was a Thursday. I came home from work 30 minutes late because of a meeting that ran over. Megan was sitting on the couch when I walked in. She did not say a word. Not hello, not how was your day, nothing. Just cold silence the entire evening. I did not push. I had learned not to push. The next morning, I opened Facebook during my commute and saw it. Sometimes you have to walk away from toxic men. Know your worth, queens. 213 likes. 47 comments. Heart emojis, clapping hands, words of encouragement from people I knew. People we knew, co-workers, friends, acquaintances, everyone saw it. Everyone believed it. She was talking about me. My heart pounded. But something strange happened. Instead of the usual panic, instead of the desperate need to fix things, I felt calm, clear, like a fog had lifted. I realized this was my exit. I scrolled down to the like button and pressed it. Then I typed a comment. I agree. You deserve better. I posted it and put my phone away. The calls started within minutes. Megan calling, texting, demanding to know what I meant. I did not answer. She sent message after message. What is that supposed to mean? I replied once. Exactly what it says. She was confused, angry. She had expected me to beg, to apologize, to fight. That was the pattern. That was what I always did. But not this time. Hours later, she posted again. A photo of 2 suitcases by the front door with a caption. Start walking. The comments poured in. You go, girl, strong woman. Know your worth. I saw the post during my lunch break. I smiled. I typed my response. Already packed. Thanks for the reminder. That afternoon, I left work early. I called Marcus and Derek. They met me at the apartment within an hour. We worked fast. 2 hours, that was all it took. My clothes, my guitar, my laptop, my documents, everything that mattered fit into boxes and bags. We loaded them into Marcus's truck. Before I left, I wrote a note and placed it on the kitchen counter. The lease is under my name. You have 30 days to find a new place. I wish you well. I called a locksmith. By 5 o'clock, the locks were changed. Everything was legal. Everything was documented. Megan came home to an empty apartment. The messages started immediately. Is this a joke? You cannot do this to me. I did not mean it. Come back. We can talk about this. I responded once. I agreed with you. You said walk away from toxic men. I am doing us both a favor. Then I blocked her number. She tried to control the narrative online. She posted about people showing their true colors. She painted herself as the victim. But screenshots of her original posts had already spread. People started asking questions. Some unfriended her. The story did not go the way she planned. I watched from a distance as everything she built crumbled, and I felt nothing but peace. The first night at Marcus's place, I slept for 12 hours straight. I had not slept like that in almost 2 years. No anxiety, no walking on eggshells, no fear of saying or doing the wrong thing. Just silence and rest. The next morning, I woke up and cried. Not from sadness, from relief. The weight I had been carrying was finally gone. Marcus sat with me at the kitchen table drinking coffee. He did not say much. He did not need to. He just let me process. That is what real friendship looks like. After 2 weeks, I moved into my new apartment. It was smaller than my old place, but it felt bigger somehow. I hung my guitar on the wall right in the living room where I could see it every day. I put up my football posters without asking anyone permission. I bought a comfortable couch, the kind you could sink into. I cooked dinner for myself that first night. Nothing fancy, just pasta with garlic bread. I played music loud enough to fill every room. I sat on my balcony and watched the sunset. I felt like myself for the first time in years. Reconnecting with my family came next. I called my mom on a Sunday afternoon. We talked for over an hour. She cried. She said she knew something was wrong but did not want to push me away by interfering. She said she had been praying for me to find my way back. I apologized for disappearing. She told me there was nothing to forgive. She was just happy to have her son back. The fishing trips resumed. Marcus, Derek, Tommy, and me out on the lake like old times. We did not talk about Megan much. We talked about the future instead. New goals, new dreams, things we wanted to accomplish. Sitting on that boat with my friends, watching the sun reflect off the water, I realized how much I had missed. How much I had given up for someone who never truly loved me. I started asking myself hard questions. Why did I stay so long? Why did I accept treatment I would never wish on anyone else? Why did I lose myself so completely? The answers were uncomfortable. I was afraid of conflict. I wanted to be liked, to be loved, even at the cost of my own well-being. My self-worth was tied to how others saw me, not how I saw myself. I bought books on boundaries, on healthy relationships, on self-respect. I read them in the evenings instead of watching television. I started seeing a therapist every other week. She helped me understand patterns I had been repeating since childhood. Being kind, she told me, does not mean letting people walk all over you. You can be gentle and still have a backbone. That lesson changed everything. At work, my colleagues noticed the difference. I was more confident in meetings. I shared ideas I would have kept to myself before. I laughed more. My supervisor noticed. 3 months after leaving Megan, I was offered a promotion. More responsibility, better pay, recognition for work I had been doing quietly for years. I accepted it without hesitation. Months later, I heard news about Megan through a mutual acquaintance. She had moved back to her hometown to live with her parents. She lost her job after creating conflict with her coworkers. The same patterns that destroyed our relationship had followed her into every other part of her life. I did not feel satisfaction. I did not feel revenge. I felt sadness. She was hurting, probably had been hurting long before she met me. That did not excuse what she did, but it helped me understand that her behavior was never really about me. It was about her own wounds, her own fears, her own need for control. I hope she finds her own path to healing someday. Genuinely. But that path is not my responsibility. Here is what I learned through all of this. Love should not cost you your identity. If you have to shrink yourself to fit into a relationship, it is not love. It is captivity with a nicer name. Boundaries are not walls. They are doors. They let you choose who gets access to your heart and your life. Setting boundaries is not selfish. It is survival. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is not fight. It is walk away. It is choose yourself when everyone else expects you to keep sacrificing. I sit on my balcony now, guitar in my hands, playing the songs I used to play before I forgot who I was. My phone buzzes. A message from a woman I met at a guitar class last month. She asked if I wanted to get coffee sometime. I smile, but I do not rush to respond. This time I will take it slow. I will pay attention to the warning signs. I will protect the peace I have built. Because I deserve a love that adds to my life, not one that subtracts from it. Sometimes the best response to someone calling you toxic is to simply agree, step back, and let them see who really needed who. Not out of spite, not out of revenge, out of respect for yourself. And that, my friends, is worth more than any relationship that asks you to be less than you are. If this story resonated with you, I want to hear from you. Have you ever been in a relationship where you felt like you were always the problem? How did you find your way out? Drop your story in the comments below. If this video helped you in any way, please hit that like button. It helps more people find these stories who might need to hear them. Subscribe to this channel if you want more real stories about real-life lessons. And if you know someone who might be going through something similar, share this video with them. Sometimes hearing someone else's story is the first step toward finding your own freedom. Thank you for watching until the end. Thank you for being part of this community. I wish you the strength to set boundaries, the courage to walk away when you need to, and the wisdom to know your worth. Take care of yourselves. I will see you in the next one.